Well, good evening, Cleveland. I've always wanted to start a Pechachka talk like that. My name is Stuart Smith, and I want to tell you about how I feel about Pechachka and lead you to some Pechachka-related steps, action steps. When I was asked to present today, I immediately thought of my grandfather, Curtis Lee Smith, Mr. Cleveland. Yes, I've been told that my grandfather was known as Mr. Cleveland. He was a well-known public speaker and a promoter of Cleveland. When I hear your Pechachka presentations promoting Cleveland, I think of my grandfather. This is the picture I specifically thought of when I was asked to speak here. It is a caricature of my grandfather doing public speaking, wearing many hats as he talked about Cleveland organizations. I grew up seeing this drawing, and it has a strong emotional meaning for me. The next thing that happened was, as I was thinking about this presentation, was a serious case of writer's block. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir, the people who are Pechachka. You're it. Who am I to talk to you about Pechachka? Pechachka is important to me, and I wanted to get it right. But as the struggle ended, I decided to make my talk about what I like about Pechachka, its locations, its topics, its people, and how I make it part of my life through Twitter and my blog. So here we go. First, since it is the tradition of Pechachka speakers to share what they create, I wanted to start with showing you my homepage for my website I designed, featuring some of the blog posts that I created about Pechachka. I use Twitter to live tweet at events.
It'll keep going on the line.
Tonight also, I'm wearing my Twitter tie that my son designed especially for me. My son recognizes that I'm a bit crazy when it comes to sharing exciting things going on in our community. I don't have time to tell you the full story, so please see me later and introduce yourself so I can learn about you and I can tell you my elevator speech. I have a process that makes me feel more engaged with Pechachkas. Before the event, I look at the speakers' websites and learn about them. During the event, I live tweet to share with the larger community what is being presented, and after the event, I turn the tweets into a blog post. Pechachka has given me insight into the community. It was very meaningful to me to hear a Pechachka talk about the Butterfly Project in Tamir Rice's neighborhood a few months after I attended the one-year remembrance for him, where I tweeted my video of the release of 12 doves for the 12 years of Tamir's life. And it was also very cool to know the details about Bike Cleveland Project before it appeared in the local newspaper. It was also interesting to know some of the history about Cleveland's abolitionists before going to the Station Hope event. Other examples of community insight include knowing about former Pechachka speakers when I see them presenting at other Cleveland events like Bright Winter, the Cleveland Public Library Shakespeare exhibit, and Uptown's Uke Fest. I attend many events, so it's always great to know the background of speakers when I see them again at a different venue. I also want to be clear that I'm not just talking about Cleveland. Be sure to check out Pechachka Akron. Their Volume 1 happened a year ago, and now we just recently attended Volume 5. Some really cool things are happening in Akron, and you can learn about them by attending Pechachka Akron. These are posters from 2 of the Pechachka Akron events that my wife and I attended, and that we wrote blog posts about. Mark your calendar for February 3rd, 2017 for the next Akron event. Sign up on Facebook for event announcements and follow PK Akron on Twitter. The first time I saw a Pechachka Cleveland was at Ingenuity Fest on the lower level of the Detroit Superior Bridge. I immediately loved it and wanted more. Unfortunately, the next several events were scheduled at times that had a conflict, but I would read about these interesting locations and talks, and my desire grew. One of my favorite aspects of Pechachka is its venues. Each event is at a unique location. In addition to the Detroit Superior Bridge, I've attended PK events at the City Club, the club at Key Center, behind the West Side Market, Jack's Casino, before it was a casino, Public Square, Playhouse Square, Aloft, Hot Cards, Mocha, Hofbrauhaus, the Music Box, House of Blues, Akron Civic Theater, and the Bit Factory.
Long list.
But of course, it's the interesting topics and speakers are what Pechacha is all about. It is truly mind-blowing how many different subjects are covered. Thanks to all of you creative people who have enriched Pechacha by sharing your stories. Here is the leadership team of Pechacha Cleveland. Let's use the remainder of this 20 seconds of this slide to give them a round of applause for their great work. Woo! Thank you, Cleveland Pechacha leaders. Woo! I'd like to challenge you to take 2 Pechacha-related action steps. First, share the PK story by telling your friends and sharing on social media. And second, help identify future speakers. Do what I do. Jot down potential speakers' names as you think of them and pass them on to the leadership team. And now I want to introduce you to my wife and co-blogger and fellow Pechacha groupie, Julie Smith. We both want to thank you again, not only for making Pechacha Cleveland an exciting event, but also for adding value to our Cleveland community. Thank you.